Welcome back to the Profitable Mindset Podcast, everyone. Today we're diving into a topic that's absolutely essential for anyone looking to build lasting wealth, real financial freedom. Insurance.
Not always the most exciting topic, right?
I know, but
Yeah.
stick with us because we're going to break down why insurance is so important. Like we're talking about using it as a tool to actually amplify your wealth, not just protect it.
That's right. So many investors, so many traders, they pour all their energy into building these amazing portfolios. They spend hours honing their trading skills, but they often forget about protecting what they've worked so hard for.
Exactly. It's like building this incredible skyscraper.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, it's impressive, but then you totally forget about the foundation. And what happens?
It crumbles. The whole thing can come crashing down.
And nobody wants that, right? Especially when it comes to your financial future. I mean, think about it. You spend years carefully crafting this investment strategy, building a solid portfolio, and then, bam, something unexpected happens.
Like a sudden illness,
Health crisis,
natural disaster,
lawsuit.
any of these things, they can throw your plans completely off track.
Insurance is there to act as your financial fortress, protecting all that you've worked for. It's not about being pessimistic, really. It's more about being prepared for those bumps in the road.
Right.
Having that cushion to help you navigate the unexpected.
It's like, think about it like a shock absorber for your finances. It helps you glide over those bumps instead of getting thrown off course.
I love that analogy. Okay, so let's get down to brass tacks. Can you give us some concrete examples of, like, how insurance really comes into play? Real-world scenarios where it makes all the difference.
Sure. Let's say you have a trader, right? Really skilled, crushing it in the market, but then they have a health emergency.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Medical bills pile up, and what happens? They're forced to sell their assets, probably at a loss too, and their whole investment strategy, everything they've worked for, it's in jeopardy.
That's heartbreaking.
Or imagine a real estate investor. They've built this impressive portfolio of properties, but then a hurricane hits.
Devastating.
Rebuilding, recovering from that kind of damage, it takes years. Their cash flow is crippled. Insurance steps in to bridge that gap. It provides the financial resources they need to weather that storm, to come out on the other side.
That's powerful. Okay, I'm starting to really grasp this concept. But honestly, the world of insurance can feel kind of overwhelming. There are so many different types of policies, all this jargon. Can you help us break it down? Like, what are the essentials that investors and traders should consider?
Absolutely. Let's start with life insurance. A lot of people think it's just for those with families, but the benefits, they go way beyond that.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Think of it as a safety net for your legacy, right? It can cover debts, facilitate smooth business successions, and even fund charitable contributions.
So it's not just about providing for your family if something happens to you. It's about ensuring your financial wishes are carried out no matter what.
Right on. And within life insurance, you have different types of policies, each catering to unique needs. You've got term life insurance, which offers coverage for a set period of time. It's a great cost-effective option if you need to cover temporary things like a mortgage or income replacement while you're still working.
That makes sense. And then what are the other options?
Then you have permanent life insurance, like whole life or universal life. These offer lifelong coverage, and they can actually act as a wealth-building tool because of their cash value component.
Oh, that's interesting. So choosing the right type really depends on your personal situation, right? Like your goals, your financial comfort level, all of that.
Exactly. It's a personal decision.
Okay, makes sense. What about health insurance? That one seems pretty straightforward.
It's essential. It's not just about covering medical expenses. It's about protecting your health, which, let's be honest, is your most valuable asset.
Absolutely. For investors and traders, mental clarity and focus are everything. Having health insurance provides that peace of mind. Knowing you're covered if something unexpected happens. You can focus on your financial game without that added stress of potential medical bills.
Exactly. It's about protecting your ability to earn income, which is the foundation of financial well-being.
Within health insurance, there's a whole range of options, right? From those traditional HMOs and PPOs to those high-deductible health plans that are becoming increasingly popular.
Right, and don't forget about HSAs, health savings accounts, especially if you have a high-deductible health plan. They offer a triple tax advantage, tax-deductible contributions, tax-free growth, and tax-free withdrawals for qualified medical expenses.
Okay, so they're like a secret weapon in your financial arsenal.
You could say that. And remember, when choosing investments within your HSA, consider aligning them with your overall investment goals and risk tolerance. It's like an extension of your investment portfolio working together with your other strategies.
Smart move. Now, on to disability insurance. Often overlooked, but crucial, especially for those whose income is directly tied to their ability to work.
It's like an insurance policy for your paycheck. It's there to replace your income if you can't work due to illness or injury.
What if it's not even a major thing? Like, what if it's something that seems minor but still affects your ability to work,
Yeah.
like carpal tunnel syndrome for a day trader?
Disability insurance can cover that too. It's there to provide that buffer so you can focus on recovery without stressing about finances.
Okay, so different types of disability insurance exist.
Right. You have short-term disability policies that cover you for a few months. Then there are long-term disability policies that can provide coverage for years, maybe even until retirement. It really depends on your specific situation, your income, and how much risk you're comfortable with.
All right, next up, property insurance. This is a big one for anyone who owns, well, property.
Your home, a rental property, even a dedicated trading office. Property insurance is there to protect you from financial loss if something damages or destroys that property.
Fires, natural disasters, theft, vandalism, those are all scary but real possibilities.
And for investors and traders, the impact can be huge. I mean, it could disrupt income streams, damage valuable equipment. Property insurance helps protect the foundation of your financial world.
And there are different types of property insurance too, right?
You've got homeowners insurance for primary residences. Renters insurance protects those who lease their homes. Commercial property insurance is there for businesses. And within those, there are different levels of coverage, deductibles, and options. The important thing is to make sure you understand what your policy covers and to assess your specific risks.
So don't just assume the standard policy covers everything.
Got it.
Got it. What about liability insurance? I feel like this is something that individual investors or traders might overlook, like they don't think they need it.
Liability insurance is your shield against lawsuits and claims.
What if, like, someone gets hurt on my property and they sue me? Or a client accuses me of giving bad financial advice?
Exactly. Those things can happen, even when you're careful. Liability insurance is there to protect you from those potentially devastating financial burdens.
Wow, okay, I'm seeing the bigger picture now.
Yeah.
So are there different types of liability coverage too?
Yeah. General liability insurance, that's the most common. It protects you against things like bodily injury claims, property damage, even libel or slander. Then there's professional liability insurance.
For those providing professional services, right?
Yep, like financial advisors, traders managing other people's money. It's often called errors and omissions insurance.
And if you have a lot of assets and you want more protection, there's umbrella insurance, right?
Exactly. It's like an extra layer of protection on top of your other liability coverage.
So much to consider. Okay, big question now. How do you figure out how much insurance you actually need? You know, you want to be protected, but you don't want to overspend and limit your ability to invest. It's a tricky balance.
You're right. It is a balancing act. The first step is shifting your mindset. Stop thinking of insurance as just another expense. It's an investment in managing risk.
Okay, that's a good way to think about it.
Yeah.
But how do I actually decide on the right coverage for each type?
Well, you have to be honest with yourself about your risk tolerance. What kind of financial loss are you comfortable with? What are the absolute worst-case scenarios that could derail your goals?
Right, so it's about tailoring your insurance strategy to your specific situation.
Exactly. Your stage of life also plays a big role. If you're young, single, just starting out, your priorities might be different than someone with a family and a mortgage. As your life changes, your insurance needs will change too.
Okay, this is all making sense. But this stuff can get pretty complicated. Can investors and traders really figure this out on their own, or should they seek professional help?
You know, while it's always good to educate yourself, working with an experienced insurance advisor can be incredibly valuable. They can help you navigate the complexities of insurance, make sure you understand everything, and create a plan that's truly personalized.
So it's like having a financial coach who understands your specific world.
Exactly. They can help you choose the right coverage, the right policies for your unique situation.
It's about peace of mind, really,
Whoa.
knowing you're covered.
Exactly. It's about building a secure financial future. Welcome back to the Profitable Mindset Podcast.
All right, so as we keep going deeper into this world of insurance, I think it's important to address this idea that a lot of people have, this misconception that insurance is like a gamble, a bet you're making against fate. You know?
Yeah, you hear that a lot, don't you?
I do. And I think that kind of thinking, it can really hold people back. It leads to being underinsured or maybe even ignoring insurance altogether?
It's a big mistake. Because you see, insurance isn't about gambling at all. It's about managing risk. It's about recognizing that unpredictable events, they happen, and you need a plan in place to handle the financial fallout.
I like that. It's like, those safety nets they have at the circus. You hope you never need it, but it's there to catch you if you fall.
Exactly. It allows you to bounce back, to keep pursuing your goals, even when something unexpected throws you off course.
Okay, so how do we shift that mindset then? How do we stop looking at insurance as a gamble and start seeing it as a strategic tool?
By understanding the real cost of risk, we get so hung up on the price of those premiums, right? It feels like a burden, especially when you're also trying to save and invest.
Yeah, totally get that.
But what we need to ask ourselves is, what's the cost of not having insurance when something bad happens?
Right, because that cost, it can be massive.
It can be. It can wipe you out. You could lose years of savings and investments all because you didn't have that protection in place.
So it's a matter of weighing those two costs against each other.
Exactly. It's like playing defense in a financial game. It might not be glamorous, but it's how you win in the long run.
All right, so I'm on board with the idea, but how do we actually go about creating this strategic insurance plan? Where do we even begin?
You start with a thorough risk assessment. Take a hard look at your financial life, your assets, your income streams, your investments. Figure out what could potentially disrupt your financial well-being.
Okay, so it's about asking those what-if questions.
Right. What if you get sick or injured and can't work? What if a fire damages your home? What if the market tanks and your portfolio takes a hit?
It's not fun to think about these things, but I guess it's necessary.
It is. As investors and traders, we're used to evaluating risk, right?
Yeah.
We need to apply that same mindset to our personal lives.
Okay, so once we identify our vulnerabilities, what's next?
You look at what you already have. Evaluate your current insurance coverage. Do you have the right types of policies? Are those coverage limits high enough?
So it's like taking inventory of your financial defenses, making sure they're strong enough.
Exactly. You want to make sure there are no gaps in your protection.
And this is something we can do on our own. Or should we get professional help?
It's smart to learn as much as you can, but working with an experienced insurance advisor, someone who really knows their stuff, it can be incredibly valuable.
It's like having a coach, right? Someone who understands your specific needs and goals.
That's the idea. They can help you navigate the whole process, make sure you're making informed decisions.
Okay, so how do you find a good advisor? One who really gets investors and traders.
Look for someone who understands financial markets, investment strategies, the kinds of risks that people like us face.
Someone who speaks our language.
Right. They should be able to explain things clearly, give you personalized advice that aligns with your goals. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Interview a few different advisors until you find the right fit.
And remember, your insurance needs, they'll change over time as your life changes, as your financial situation changes.
It's not something you set up once and forget about. It's a dynamic process. You have to keep adjusting and refining your strategy as you go along.
Okay, let's get into the specifics now. Let's talk about those different types of insurance. We touched on them before, but can we dive a little deeper?
Sure, let's start with life insurance. Many people think it's only for families, but it's so much more than that.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier. What are some other reasons someone might need life insurance?
Think about debts. Would those debts be a burden on your loved ones if you were gone? What about a business partner? Would they need to buy out your share of the business? Do you have specific wishes for how your assets should be distributed? Life insurance can help with all of those things.
So it's about taking control of your legacy, even if you don't have kids or a spouse.
It's about peace of mind, knowing that you've taken care of things, even if the unexpected happens.
And there are different types of life insurance, right?
Yes, we talked about term life insurance. It covers you for a set period, like 10 or 20 years. It's usually the most affordable option, and it's great for temporary needs.
Like covering a mortgage or replacing your income for a while.
Right. Then there's permanent life insurance, which includes whole life and universal life policies. These give you lifelong coverage, and they also have that cash value component we talked about.
Right, so it could be a way to build wealth while you're protecting yourself.
Exactly. But choosing between term and permanent life insurance, it's a big decision. It really depends on your individual needs and your financial goals. Talking to a financial advisor can help you figure out the best option.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, what about health insurance? Seems pretty straightforward, but are there any tips for investors and traders?
One important thing is to choose a plan that fits your risk tolerance and your healthcare needs. Do you want a wider network of doctors with a PPO, or are you okay with a smaller network and lower costs with an HMO?
Finding that balance between what you pay and what you get is key.
Yeah. And if you're self-employed or have a high deductible plan, don't forget about those health savings accounts.
They really seem like a no-brainer, especially with those tax benefits.
They can be. You get that triple tax advantage, and you can even invest the funds and let them grow tax-free. But there are limits to how much you can contribute, so keep that in mind as you're planning.
Great point.
Yeah.
Okay, what about disability insurance? Why is this so crucial for investors and traders, and how do you pick the right policy?
Disability insurance is all about protecting your ability to earn income. For people who make a living through trading or investing, a disability could be devastating, even if it's temporary.
Yeah, you don't realize how important your health is until you have a problem.
That's true. And disability insurance doesn't just cover basic living expenses. It can help you maintain those investment contributions, those savings goals, the lifestyle you've built.
So how do you choose a disability insurance policy?
Think about what could cause a disability for you. For a trader, it could be carpal tunnel, a back injury from sitting too long, or even stress.
Okay, so you need to be realistic about your risks.
Once you know your risks, you can look at different policies and compare things like the coverage amount, the benefit period, how long you have to wait before those benefits start.
You want a policy that fits your specific job, your income, your situation.
Exactly. Remember, it's not just about replacing your income. It's about having financial stability and peace of mind when you need it most.
All right, on to property insurance. Anything specific investors and traders should keep in mind?
Make sure your coverage limits are high enough. You don't want to underestimate the cost of rebuilding if you lose everything.
Good point.
And think about those specific risks that aren't always covered in a standard policy, like floods, earthquakes, or even cyber attacks. You might need to buy extra coverage for those things.
It's all about reading that fine print and making sure your policy fits your risks and what your property is worth.
Absolutely. And don't forget about liability coverage. What if someone gets hurt on your property?
Right, whether it's a guest in your home or a tenant, you could be held responsible.
And if you have a lot of assets, an umbrella insurance policy can give you extra protection on top of your other liability coverage.
Like a safety net for your safety net.
Exactly. It's about being proactive and making sure your insurance plan is up to date and comprehensive.
So much great information. All right, I know our listeners are probably ready to take action now, so before we move on, here's a little homework assignment. Take some time this week to go over your current insurance coverage. Are there any gaps? Are those coverage limits still enough? Are there new risks you need to think about? Remember, insurance is not static. Your needs will change over time, so stay proactive, stay informed, and stay protected.
Welcome back to the Profitable Mindset Podcast.
We're back and ready to wrap up our deep dive into insurance and how it can help you build a really strong financial strategy. You know, before the break, we gave everyone a little homework assignment.
Yeah, we asked everyone to take a good look at their current insurance coverage.
See if there were any gaps in their protection. Make sure everything was up to date. And just think about any new risks that might need to be addressed. You know, because life changes, and your insurance needs to change with it.
Absolutely. It's so easy to get caught up in chasing those returns, you know? We
Yeah.
focus so much on growing our wealth that we forget about protecting what we've already built.
Yeah, I totally get that. It's like spending all this time creating something beautiful, something valuable, but then you forget to protect it.
You wouldn't create a masterpiece and then leave it out in the rain, would you?
Definitely not.
Yeah.
You need that frame to protect it, to showcase it.
Insurance, it's like that frame for your financial achievements. It helps you preserve and enhance everything you've worked for.
I love that analogy. Okay, so as we bring this episode to a close, I want to touch on something that I think is really important, but it doesn't always get a lot of attention. The psychological impact of insurance.
The peace of mind it can bring.
Yeah, exactly. Having the right insurance, it can really change the way you think about your finances, the way you make decisions.
You know, when you have that security, that feeling of being protected, it really frees you up.
It does. You're not constantly worrying about what-if scenarios. You can take calculated risks, pursue new opportunities.
You can make clear-headed investment decisions. You don't have that fear holding you back, that fear of losing everything.
It's like, I don't know, it's like having a safety net underneath you so you can take bigger leaps, you know?
You can swing for the fences without worrying about falling flat on your face.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Because fear and anxiety, they can really mess with your financial decision-making. They can make you hesitate, make you play it too safe. and that limits your potential.
You can end up making impulsive choices or missing out on good opportunities.
Insurance takes away that fear, that anxiety. It lets you approach your finances with a calm mind, a confident spirit.
It helps you shift from that scarcity mindset, that feeling of lack, to an abundance mindset.
Where you feel empowered to take those calculated risks, knowing that you have that safety net in place.
It's about recognizing that insurance isn't just about protecting your money. It's about protecting your mental well-being, your ability to make smart choices.
Okay, so how do we get there? How do we cultivate that sense of security, that feeling of empowerment?
Knowledge is key. The more you understand about insurance, the different types of policies, the ways you can use it strategically, the more in control you'll feel.
It's about educating yourself, doing your research.
Exactly. And then you have to take action. You have to put that knowledge into practice by creating a plan, a personalized insurance strategy that really works for you.
A plan that aligns with your risk tolerance, your financial goals, your vision for the future.
And that's where working with an advisor can be so helpful. They can guide you through the process, help you make those informed decisions.
Right. Finding someone you trust, someone who understands your needs, your goals. Because there's no one-size-fits-all solution when it comes to insurance.
Everyone's financial life is unique, your risks are unique, and your insurance plan should be unique too.
It's like creating a custom-made suit of armor. Something that fits you perfectly, that protects you from those specific threats that you're most vulnerable to.
And once you have that plan in place, it's amazing how much it frees you up to go after your goals.
You have that confidence, that clarity. You're not weighed down by that fear and uncertainty anymore. So this has been a really incredible journey. We've learned so much about insurance, how it works, and why it's so essential.
We talked about the different types of policies, how to assess your risks, and the importance of creating a strategic plan.
But we also went deeper than that. We talked about the psychological benefits, the peace of mind that comes from knowing you're protected, that feeling of freedom, of empowerment.
It's about recognizing that financial security, it's not just about the numbers. It's about having the right mindset, the ability to face challenges with confidence.
So as we wrap up this episode of the Profitable Mindset podcast, I want to leave you with this. Insurance, it's not just about protecting what you have, it's about empowering you to achieve what you want.
It's about building that strong foundation so you can dream bigger, take those calculated risks, and create the life you truly desire.
Embrace the power of insurance. Make it a part of your journey. And just watch as it opens up a world of possibilities for you.
Thank you for joining us today as we explored this important topic.
And to all our listeners, thank you for tuning in to the Profitable Mindset podcast. We'll be back next week with another exciting episode to help you navigate the world of finance and achieve those financial dreams.